There we go. Is it on? Good morning. God bless us all for coming here this morning for this wonderful gift of celebration of life. My name is Linda Gallagher. I am so grateful that I was called to be part of you this morning. Just to say something before I share this message with all of you. Many years ago, it seems like a couple years ago, I met Vicki. I'm part of a spiritual center over in Martinez. And she came there a number of times, and she would be dancing in the back because we're a music ministry. And she was just having a ball. And one day she came up to me and said, "Oh, I'd love you to come over to the Home of Truth. Would you be willing to do that?" And I said, "Of course, you just tell me when." Well, it didn't happen then. But I say to Vicki, you called, I heard, and it's now. I want to give a little sharing about this journey that we are all on. And Vicki is such an example of energy and perseverance and love and light and message. Her life is a message. Your life is a message. And so I want to just kind of open us up to our imagination as we listen to this beautiful message of journey. I'm standing upon the seashore. A ship at my side spreads its white sails at my side, white sails to the morning breeze, and starts for the blue ocean. She's an object of beauty and strength. I stand and watch until at length it hangs like a speck of white cloud just where the sea and sky come to mingle with each other. Then someone at my side says, "There, she is gone." Gone where? Gone from my sight. That is all. She is just as large in mast and hull and spar as she was when she left my side. And she is just able to bear the load of living freight to her new destined port. Her diminished size is only in me, not in her. And just at the moment when someone at my side says, "There, she is gone," there are other eyes watching her coming, and other voices ready to take up the glad shout, "Here she comes." Sail thy vessel on, steady friend. Steadily sail along. Water may be rough, or water may be smooth, but ever hold fast to thy compass. The sky may smile, or the sky may frown. Hold fast to thy compass. The wind may roar, or the wind may be still. Hold fast. Hold fast to thy compass and sail thy vessel on. Steady, steady, friend. Steadily sail along. The story of the ship sailing away from one shore with friends and loved ones, saying goodbye. and the other waiting to be received upon crossing the horizon by another shore with friends and loved ones, waiting to greet her. The ordinary man looks upon death with dread and sadness. Those who have gone before know it is a wondrous experience of peace and freedom. Death makes us think what we truly value. Perhaps we wonder most of all about those we love. Where are they? Why are they spirited away from us? A brief time here, a brief time here, and then they disappear behind the veil of death. We feel so helpless and sad. There's nothing we can do about it. But what is death? Death is an experience of transition from a level of living to the next level of living. It is an experience whereby all limitations of the physical body are forgotten. And the one who passed realizes how free they truly are. For the first few seconds, there may be a sense of fear. Fear of the unknown, of something unfamiliar to the present consciousness. But after that comes a great realization. The soul feels a joyous sense of relief and freedom. You know that you exist apart from the mortal body. Every one of us is going to die someday. So there's no use any longer in fearing death. You don't feel miserable at the prospect of losing consciousness of your body when you go to sleep. You accept sleep as a state of freedom to look forward to. So is death. It is a state, a pension from this life. There's nothing to fear. When death comes, in Scripture, the calling is to laugh at it. Death is only an experience which we are meant to learn a great lesson. You, Vicki, all of us, cannot die. The body is only a garment. How many times have you changed your clothing in this life? But because of this, you would not say that you have changed. Similarly, when you give up this bodily dress at death, you do not change. You are just the same immortal, magnificent child of God. The Bhagavad Gita speaks beautifully and comfortingly of the immortality of the soul. Never the spirit was born. The spirit shall cease to be never. Never was time, it was not. End and beginning are nothing but dreams. Birthless and deathless and changeless remaineth the spirit forever. Death hath not touched it at all. Death, though the house of it seems. So why do we cry when our dear ones die? Our sorrow is we feel loss. If our loved ones leave us for training in better schools of life, we're meant to rejoice instead of being selfishly sad. It is merely our lack of understanding of life that would keep us ongoing in a state of grief. Realize that this one, Vicki, has gone onto a higher plane at the will of God, and that God knows what is best for her. Rejoice that she is finally free. Pray that your love and goodwill be messengers of encouragement to her on her forward path. So as we grow ourselves in the truth of life, in the truth of recovering from the ignorance of duality, we will come to understand more fully the great gift of this life, the gift of this life, and the celebration that it deserves, especially upon one's passing. So for a moment, let us close our eyes. Let us send our loving thoughts to our beloved, this beautiful soul that is with us as we open our hearts to her. See her enfolded in the very presence of the light of God. And then see that light within yourself. Then send out your loving vibrations to everyone you know. Continuing to send loving thought vibrations often to Vicki and to others and to this world. Mentally telling everyone, we will meet again sometime as our love and friendship continues to grow. Let yourself know that this life is not the end, but merely one link in the eternal chain of love expressing itself. For indeed, this life is all about love. The ocean of spirit has become the little bubble of my soul. Whether floating in birth or disappearing in death, this ocean of cosmic awareness, the bubble of my life, cannot die. I am indestructible consciousness, protected in the bosom of spirit, immortality. In truth, we are a spark from the infinite. I am not flesh. I am not bones. I am light. I am light. Om, light. Perhaps love.
Tony wanted me to let everyone know that Vicki performed this song at her mother's memorial.
Love is like a resting place, a shelter from the storm. It exists to give you comfort, it's there to keep you warm. And in those times of trouble, when you are most alone, the memory of love will bring you home. Perhaps love is like a window, perhaps an open door. It invites you to come closer, it wants to show you more. And even if you lose yourself and don't know what to do, the memory of love will see you through. Oh, love to some is like a cloud, to some is strong as steel, to some a way of living, for some a way to feel. And some say love is holding on, and some say letting go. Some say love is everything, some say they don't know. Perhaps love is like the ocean, full of conflicts, full of pain, like a fire when it's cold outside, or thunder when it rains. If I should live forever and all my dreams come true, my memories of love will be of you. To some is like a cloud, to some is strong as steel, for some a way of living, for some a way to feel. And some say love is holding on, and some say letting go. Some say love is everything, some say they don't know. Perhaps love is like the mountains, full of conflict, full of change, like a fire when it's cold outside, or thunder when it rains. If I should live forever and all my dreams come true, my memories of love will be of you. My memories of love will be of you.
Thank you all for being here to honor Vicki and celebrate her life. To the people gathered here who I haven't met, I'm Vicki Lapp's sister, Tony. Being Vicki's sister was not without its challenges, as you may expect. Growing up, she was bossy, much like she was as an adult. She was a nemesis, a confidant, a rival, and a mentor, and she excelled at each role. We grew up in Kansas City, shared a bedroom for much of that time. Thank you, Ellen. Shared a bedroom for much of that time. She would always stake her claim to the bed closest to the window. At night, after we'd gotten ready for bed, we would argue over who had to walk over the cold floor and turn out the light. Invariably, it was me. I would give in after debating the merits of who should turn out the light for about 15 minutes. She called me Tony Baloney. I called her Tricky Vicki. Like many children of the 1970s, we played board games. She always won. She had an uncanny ability to roll the dice and get the exact number to land on Boardwalk when we played Monopoly. When we played Risk, she'd have control of all the superpowers within 5 minutes. At Scrabble, she would seemingly draw all the high-scoring letters and play them on the triple word score. You get the picture. But because of this competitive spirit, you always wanted to be on Vicki's team. She was persuasive. When our cousins visited one summer, she floated the idea that our parents should take us to the amusement park, which would have been a pricey outing for a group of our size. She wrote a cheer for us to deliver to our parents. Hamburgers, hot dogs, hustle the buns. We want to go to Worlds of Fun. It didn't persuade our parents, but we had fun learning the cheer. She was creative. When we would visit our cousins in Ohio, we loved attending Mass since we were from a non-church-going family. But we weren't permitted to take communion there. So we created our own religion and baked communion wafers in our Easy Bake Oven. She was independent when she moved west after college. It changed our family, but we adapted and shifted. Our roles evolved. We went in separate directions as adults. I became a mother, she became an entrepreneur. But we did connect on similar interests, our love of travel, our appreciation of music, and our interest in spirituality. We met in Arizona and visited Sedona and the Grand Canyon. When our family planned a trip to Ireland, she was the first to commit to the multi-generational trip and had to lend me her clothes when my bags got lost at JFK, and reminded me of her generosity at key moments on the trip. When our stepsister got married in northern Minnesota, and I assumed it would be too expensive of a trip, she sussed out a discount airfare from Kansas City, and I booked it the day before traveling. We had a falling out after a trip to Yosemite and didn't speak for a year. But after she was diagnosed with cancer, we began communicating regularly again. Many times our mom lamented that she was, quote, all alone out there in California if something were to happen. But she wasn't alone and had the knack of attracting the right people into her orbit at the right time, and many of you are here today. When the cancer spread, she confided in me about her fears. She became vulnerable in a way I'd never seen before. I saw her deploy her familiar tactics to deal with the situation, preferring to focus on matters she could control. There's been a lot of soul-searching and growth in this experience. She mused that God gave her cancer so she wouldn't think that life was easy. I need to wrap this up, and I'll close with lines from a poem I'd read at our mother's memorial service. We shall not cease from exploration, and the end of our exploring will be to arrive where we started and know the place for the first time. Thank you. Now I'd like to welcome her friends to sing a song that Vicki and I had both enjoyed.
Reminding ourselves to go slow.
So I gotta start over.
We need the note.
You'll remember me when the west wind moves among the fields of barley. You can tell the sun in his jealous sky when we walked in fields of gold. So she took her love for to gaze a while among the fields of barley. In his arms she fell as her hair came down among the fields of gold. Will you stay with me? Will you be my love among the fields of barley? And you can tell the sun in his jealous sky when we walked in fields of gold. I never made promises lightly, and there have been some that I have broken, but I swear in the days still left we will walk in fields of gold. We will walk in fields of gold. I never made promises lightly, and there have been some that I have broken, but I swear in the days still left we will walk in fields of gold. We will walk in fields of gold. Many years have passed since those summer days among the fields of barley. See the children run as sun goes down, as you lie in fields of gold. You'll remember me when the west wind moves among the fields of barley. You could tell the sun in his jealous sky when we walked in fields of gold. When we walked in fields of gold. When we walked in fields of gold.
Hello, my name's Randall Potter. Oh man, I've been juggling a lot of things here this morning, and I have this voice in my head. I'm sure like most people do, but sometimes the voice in my head is named my inner Miss Vicki. And one of the things that Vicki demonstrated to me very well, and all the time I knew her, was how to get support. And I am needing an energetic hug right now. So I want everybody to just raise your hands up. Wow. And now give everyone to everyone else. I'll get back. Wow. Well, my inner Vicki really knows what she's talking about. And she also demonstrated to me the value of preparation. So I little closer to the mic. There we go. Okay, actually, I can't read this with my glasses. So I knew Vicki for almost 30 years, and I knew her as a fellow congregant, a friend, a part-time amateur editor, a fellow board member, a committee member, worship team member, a lover, a confidant, an amateur relationship coach. I tell you how many times she called me to ask me, what am I going to do with what's his name? And I was an occasional employee and handyman, and a estranged friend. Sometimes we didn't speak to each other for some time. And a renewed friend, a support person, a caregiver, and a witness to her final days. So I met Vicki right here in this room for the first time. I saw her. I didn't meet her, but I saw her standing there. I was over there in the peace circle, and I had no idea what, at the time, of course, that this person was going to have the profound impact that she did have on me throughout my life, the course of my life. And even her death was amazingly impactful for me. The word eulogy comes from Greek, which means good word. And I bet as a group we could probably think of a word to describe Vicki from all the letters of the alphabet from A to Z. And it might be fun to have people just call them out, but I don't know. I know she was athletic, she was authentic, and she was adventurous. And I'm going to skip to Z. She had zest, she had zeal, and she was zealous. wait, I want to have one person call out a word for C. Anybody? Courageous. Competitive. Oh, good one. So, and I found her challenging as well. And she, that's about 20 years ago, when in between we didn't have a minister. So we were talking, and somehow, by the end of this talk I had with Vicki, I had agreed to give a talk here. And it was like a competition. I said, well, if you're going to do one, oh, I can do that too. You know, that was... And I did, and it went okay. But she was, oh, thank you. You remember it? It
was about the dog head, right?
Oh, that's right, the great dog head. So, well, words are nice, and my inner Miss Vicki is saying, well, you need more words than just the descriptors themselves. So, adventurous, when I first started hanging out with her, when she decided I need an editor for my travelogue, she had just gotten back from Tibet. I'm not Tibet. God, I knew I needed to write that down. I kept Nepal, excuse me. And she had so her zest and zeal and her zealousness was, she was very passionate about things that she was interested in, and she was really enjoyed sharing them with anybody she could. But she wasn't a zealot, so if she didn't get interest in what she was talking about, she would find people that were. She had no problem. She knew how to do that really well. So I remember one of the first things I learned from Vicki was that my thoughts and ideas can be unreliable, and that it's good to question them. And the way she did this was, she said something to me, and I don't remember what it was. It was just some innocuous thing, and I just said, I know. And she looked at me and says, I know. Now, I don't mind a little mocking. I thought it was kind of fun, but but it stuck with me that, to question like what I think about anything in any given moment. I may not actually know. So like, why not, instead of being reactive and, assuming, like, take some time and have some consideration for what I think I know. So she did. I actually have to say that, when we were dating, she got me into Course in Miracles, Byron Katie, Enneagram. Oh, I know there was some more. No, I didn't do that with her. That was her. But, NVC, thank you. Nonviolent communication, the language of love, empathy, and needs. And so my story about that is when I had a house over in Berkeley, and she came over one day, and she could tell that I was kind of frazzled. And I didn't actually even know what I was feeling. She said, can I give you some empathy? So I said, I guess so. Like, how do you do that? Go ahead. So she said, well, are you feeling angry and your need for ease isn't being met? I said, angry? Like, you know what? I think I am angry. Like, okay, my spiritual practice up at that point had been like, human emotions, like push them down, just don't feel them, because that takes you away from my pure center. But, when I had that acceptance of like, I'm feeling angry. I mean, it was like a totally, like, I just did some acid, and I was like, whoa. I want some more of this. So she got me into taking nonviolent communication classes with her, a lot of them, and I still retained them. I still, kind of integrated it in just the way I tend to communicate. And I thank Vicki for that from the bottom of my heart. Oh yeah, here we go. Diamond Heart also, inner listening. Sorry, I'm skipping around, but that's okay. So what if our bodily existence here was just a portal to something beyond our human understanding, something that can't be measured or quantified? Vicki's life and who she was and how she lived it had an impact on every life she touched in a way that can't be measured in the way the world measures. And it sometimes seemed to me that Vicki kind of defaulted to using the standards of the world to measure her life and concluded that she was lacking at times. But, you know, who doesn't? And that doesn't matter. Even though she could be demanding and challenging and exasperating at times, in the end, none of that matters. And my proof for that is that everyone here that came to celebrate and honor Vicki today. I know I will keep everything alive in me that I experienced with Vicki, everything she was to me and I to her, and who we were together, the highs and the lows, all that I became and am still becoming in a very tender place in my heart for as long as I live. And it's common to express platitudes about the departed, that they lived life to the fullest, and I'm pretty sure she did. But I'm not in a position to actually judge such things. I'm fairly certain that Vicki wasn't ready to leave this life yet. There was more she wanted to do. And it might seem unfair that she wasn't given more time. But again, I have no ability to judge what's fair or unfair. I only know what I know, and I know that I'll miss her tremendously, and she'll live on in me in what she transmitted to me. What would Vicki say about this situation? How can I reach for something beyond what I think I know and explore something even better? Thank you. So now we have a song by our own Nancy Gordon, and you're going to play guitar. And we're going to need a mic. And the stand. Can we use your mic? Fix that mic. Stephen or in that one? Yeah, for your guitar.
By the way, this has been my home for over half my life. My second home. I came here when a lot of us, people in my neighborhood, were raising our kids, and we came here. Jesse and Kelly were here. I don't know if you remember them, but I won't be able to see the music. Right here. I feel kind of cramped. So I must have met Vicki at least 25 years ago, and she came to my house for some Reiki, and Teresa was there, one of our good friends. And also we were in the 4T Prosperity Program. How many of you have done that? So that was quite something, and that's when we started a prayer team, a prayer group. Yes, so have to go like this to see the music. Anyway, this is a song by Kate Wolf, and I took the liberty to add a couple verses. Kind friends are gathered round. There's something I would say, that what brings us together here has blessed us all today. Love has made a circle that holds us all inside, and strangers are like family, and loneliness can't hide. You must give yourself to love. Love is what you're after. Open up your hearts to tears and laughter, and give yourself to love. Give yourself to love. I've walked these mountains in the rain. I've learned to love the wind. I've been up before the sunrise to watch the day begin. I always knew I'd find you, though I never did know how. Like sunshine on a cloudy day, you're here before me now. You must give yourself to love. Love is what you're after. Open up your hearts to tears and laughter, and give yourself to love. Give yourself to love. We're here honoring our friend we've known for many years. Today we'll tell our stories and also share our tears. Memories will lift us up each and every day. For Vicki made a difference, and for her today we pray. With strength we can move on and keep her in our hearts. Let's love and always keep the faith, because we're not apart. Vicki's essence stays alive. She's with a loving God. So we give thanks and let her go to walk where angels trod. Let's give ourselves to love. This is what we're after. Grateful for this time today, for tears and laughter. So let's take in all the love, then share the power of love. Love is born in fire, it's planted like a seed. Love can't give you everything, but it gives you what you need. Love comes when you're ready, love comes when you're afraid. It'll be your greatest teacher, the best friend you have made. Let's sing it together. You must give yourself to love. Love is what you're after. Open up your hearts to tears and laughter, and give yourself to love. Give yourself to love. So let's take in all the love, then share the power of love. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Hold on just 1 second, Jake. So now we're going to have some readings with Jake Bernberg, Tom Rockwell, and then an open mic. And I'm going to have to play time manager. Just want to give everybody a heads up about that, because we have to be out of this sanctuary by 12:30. So, yeah, everybody coordinate your watches. All right, Jake.
Hi. This is for dearest Miss Vicki. Dearest Miss Vicki is Vicki's name. Vicki had a practice of inner listening, but it was writing to God and writing from God. So she would ask questions of God and write down the answers. And in these answers, God addressed Vicki as Dearest Miss Vicki. So I love that name for her. I met Vicki about, 10 years ago, and at a party that she announced at a meetup group, like it was a meetup New Year's party for NVC, and I'd been doing NVC, and it was like on December, 29th or something like that. And so I went. It was at her house. There were about a dozen people there. Somehow we fit about a dozen people into that little house, and I think that we kind of immediately had a thing for each other, and I very soon after that became one of the what's-his names that she was talking to Randall about, yeah. So, but we had both a loving relationship and a very difficult relationship. Her standards for me wasn't really me, it was her idea of what the boyfriend was supposed to do, were rather high. And I couldn't meet up. I couldn't really meet them. So we didn't go out for that long, and then we took a break, and we did manage to become friends, where the standards were a little bit lower. But it's like this. The whatever her standards were for the boyfriend, I think that they were even higher for herself. And I think it was very difficult for her at times. And I think that's why she was so into the learning of ways to deal with that. The nonviolent communication, the inner listening, the Byron Katie. She introduced me to the inner listening, and I really love it. And I'd started doing Byron Katie with her, and sometimes we would do some NVC together and stuff. And she would always say, let's do some appreciation, let's do some gratitude. And gratitude practice was very important for us at times, because it seemed like nothing else was going right. So I think she was really hard on herself, and so there's a lot there. I was reading poetry to her during her last days, and there's this poem by Antonio Machado called Last Night as I Was Sleeping. Last night as I was sleeping, I dreamt marvelous illusion. There was a spring breaking out of my heart. I asked, along what secret aqueduct are you coming to me, O water, water of a new life I have never drunk? Last night, as I was sleeping, I dreamt a blessed illusion. There was a beehive here in my heart, and the golden bees were making white combs and sweet honey from my old failures. And I really loved that when I heard it. And she was not really that communicative when I read this to her, but she really got something from this piece too, and I think it was, that's what she needed, was forgiveness. To make, and this is better than forgiveness, the golden bees were making white combs and sweet honey from my old failures. Because the failures, they're not really failures. They're just where things go. So I want to read one poem, and then I'm getting the signal here. So this is called Beyond Santiago, and it has some stuff along the same lines. And this is for you, Miss Vicki. I hope you can hear me. Death is so simple. One moment you are alive, and then you are not. And that fear you carry with you might be equally as simple too. That you'll never have the time to accomplish what you wish. But stop a moment now, before the way beyond, and let me tell you this. You will go out of this life, however untimely, having completed every single thing you wished. You will arrive in that night like a newborn child welcomed by loving arms. You will find in that long-anticipated enemy the ultimate form of forgiveness and friendship. Every fearful goodbye suddenly become a gentle getting to know, a getting to know of a forgiveness that was strangely always anticipated, a welcome and a full understanding of all you ever did, everything you gave and everything you were given, and then everything you could never give, and above all, everything you could never bring yourself to receive. Those unattainable distances that always broke your heart, and the gifted understanding of why it was so hard for you to love. And then, and most importantly, and right to the heart, everything you were and everything you gave that was never, ever on your list. I love you, Vicki.
How's this? Okay, you can hear me. My name is Tom, and I see some familiar faces in the room, but not many. I had this kind of magical relationship with Vicki. I met her probably about 15 years ago. We were in a fellowship together for people who worked too hard. And, I can hear it. I can hear it in this room. She tried, and she worked. And she had a great, great passion for what she did. And sometimes she worked too hard. And in that group, she asked me to support her at one point. And for most of the last, something close to 15 years, we talked once a week. And so I've heard about many of you, I think. But I can't put names to all the faces, and it would just be like how to be spiritually grounded for this week. What came up in her life where she was trying too hard? How could she let go and let God in different ways? And so what I wanted to do is I'm actually going to read something so in this fellowship we have a book, and at the end of it are a bunch of affirmations for workaholics. And So I'm sure maybe some of us identify too. They're written in the first person, but I want to address them in the second person to all of us and to you, Vicki. So I'll read some of them, and then Randall will tell me when I've gone on for too long. The slower you go, the faster you grow. The more you play, this one's special for her, the more you play, the more your higher power works. You have time to spare and time to share. Time is your friend. When you take time, you make time. You refuse to rush. Your life is full, yet underscheduled. You are more effective when you are more selective. Because your overdoing is your undoing, your top priority is my being. No, wait a sec, that was the first person. Okay. I'm just going to read this one in my first person. Because my overdoing is my undoing, my top priority is my being. Before you do anything, you first do nothing. You are a human being, not a human doing. You seek to enjoy rather than to endure. The less you struggle, the more open you are to inspiration. Your higher power wants you to realize your vision of joyful work and a balanced life, and gives you whatever you need to achieve it at the right time. You draw to yourself everything you need for a joyful, balanced life. And I think all of us are here today in testament to that. I could keep going. We shared some of these affirmations in our weekly conversations. And, you know, she always, that spirit of trying, that spirit of bettering herself, that spirit of seeking connection with her higher power was always there. And it's such a pleasure to be here in this room and see and feel all of that love that I know she had for all of you. Thank you very much.
I'm going to kick off the open mic. I'm Gina. I am Vicki's sister. I'm very nervous right now, and I knew I would be, so I wore one of Vicki's bracelets and her sweater and her leggings. Okay, full confession. I started wearing Vicki's clothes much sooner than what is probably appropriate given the circumstances when I came out here. So, yeah, there's that. But what are sisters for but to, like, what kind of sister would I be if I didn't raid her closet, like, the second I got into her house? So, yeah, it was not easy being her little sister. But she always had your back. You know, she was loyal. We used to carol every winter, every Christmas. When she would come home to Kansas City, I would host my in-laws and my family, and we enjoyed walking around the neighborhood and caroling the neighbors. And this one particular year, it was, well, okay, let me just side note here. I love California. I love Californians. But I'm just going to tell you, you guys are candy asses about cold weather. This one particular year, it was 16 degrees Fahrenheit. Oh God, yeah, that's not the wind chill. That's the actual temperature. At that temperature, it takes about 5 seconds for your nose hairs to freeze when you go outside. So we were all gathered and we were enjoying the festivities just in the warm house, but I really wanted to still carol. And no, I couldn't get anybody. No one would go with me. And so I went to Vicki, and I was like, Vicki, please, like, can you get people to carol? And she was like, and we did the eye thing, like. And she was like, okay. And Vicki got people, not a lot, but Vicki got a few of us to go out and carol when it was 16 degrees. So, you know, that was the influence that she had. And also, you know, she did that for me. So, yeah, so that's my story about Vicki while I'm wearing all her clothes. So if there's anyone else who has flattering or not flattering story, I welcome you to come up and share.
My name is Ray Valerio. Vicki was well known in my Scrabble group that I created. We were regularly at Nob Hill playing Scrabble late in the evening, and she was one of the best players that I've ever played. I'm from a family of 12, so I'm number 8 of 12, but everybody in my family played Scrabble, so I didn't think that there was competition out there. But when Vicki showed up, and there was a few other, Marilyn was also a player. We enjoyed going to Nob Hill, Scrabble, and I was really disheartened when the COVID hit. That's when I stopped, and I haven't started it back up. But I always have my Scrabble boards in my van. You know, Scrabble to play when I go. But she really struck me as very, very intelligent. I wasn't into higher learning, so I was always good at spelling, though. So when I played against her, she would put down words that I had never heard of. I would never challenge her. I mean, I always had this ability to not challenge when I think, there's danger there, I shouldn't challenge. But we had a great time, and I wish I should start up again, because we had a pretty good sized group. Sometimes there were, like, we'd have to have 2 Scrabble games going, but I always carried 2 Scrabble boards in my van with the turntable and the whole bit. So. But, like I said, Vicki was just a pleasure. Thank you.
Let's see. I'm shorter than Ellen. I'll probably have to make this shorter. Yeah, I guess I have to turn the mic. Yes. There we go. How am I on the mic? Oh, pretty good. My name is Yael. I knew Vicki for about almost 30 years, since I moved to the Bay Area in the mid to late 90s. And I knew her from several different aspects of my life. We were in the same field because she went from being an engineer to being a corporate trainer, and I, after burnout in the nonprofit sector, became a trainer. So we met at American Society for Training and Development meetings before she switched again to beading. And I also knew her from contra dancing. And I knew her as a neighbor, as a fellow resident of Alameda. And she was my student because I teach improv theater classes. And Vicki, despite being really nervous, and those of you who knew Vicki knew that she liked things a certain way. She took improv, which was huge for Vicki, to let go and just trust and let things emerge. And it was fun watching her do that. She was good. Yes. And in addition to being a dancer and improviser and storyteller, I'm also a songwriter. So I knew I wanted to write a song for Vicki, which I wrote this past week. I finished it just late last night, so we'll see how this goes. And Vicki being a passionate dancer, it's called Waltz for Vicki. We'll see if I can get through this. You are gone, now we must carry on, so we will sing this song to send you along. You were smart, you had a loving heart, and from the very start, you were so strong. You loved to dance, and in the game of chance, when you got cancer, you continue to thrive. Now we must find a way to adjust, holding a sacred trust, keeping spirit alive. You were an engineer who pivoted without fear, starting a new career with your love for beads. You planned every detail well, learning to buy and sell, helping your customers find all their needs. You loved to ski, played tennis skillfully. Spirituality gave you great drive. Now we must find a way to adjust, holding a sacred trust, keeping spirit alive. Keeping spirit alive. We'll keep your spirit alive.
Hello, everyone. Probably one of the later friends of Vicki. My name is, today it's Sierra. It goes with my last name, Forrest. But anyway, so Vicki and I think Jack and some other people, we went on this hike, and that's like one of the first times I was hanging out with her. And somehow she knew something about me. I don't know why, but she knew knew some MVC, but this is not that story. I need to tell you a just brief story that is about someone else, but it's about Vicki. So, indirectly. So this is a dream I had that was so vivid, and I'm sitting there with my grandmother, but she has no form, but I know she's sitting in her chair at this camp in Maine, and she's pointing out and gesturing at the trees, and she says, you know, I can see you on the other side. This is after she died, of course. She's saying, I can see you on the other side, gesturing to the trees. So I just want to say, hi, Vicki. Everybody say, hi, Vicki. Hi, Vicki. So she's still hanging around before getting another body. There we've said hi. Anyway, the main story I wanted to tell, there's a few little stories about, but I decided just to focus on this, is one night I'm going over to see her in Oakmont, and I'm actually stopping at this little bakery on Solano Avenue and picking up some treats. And I'm going to stop at another place where another person is also, she's much older, is, you know, probably getting on the end of things. And a little bit funny thing happens is that person's totally not happy about my dropping off the street. And then I go over to Oakmont, and I think her cousin, who's the cousin? Kevin. He's there, and they're watching a movie. And I joined them, and it was Brady. What's that movie? The something about Brady? Right, 80 for Brady. So they're sitting there watching, and I brought her this tree. And she opens it up, and Kevin goes running off to get her a fork, because it has no fork. And she does not wait for that fork. She's like, I'm having this treat now. And it was such a blessing, because it was a completely different response about how to live. She was like, I'm going to participate with this, and I'm going to enjoy this moment right now. And these are like the last, you know, not the last, but this is the moment, one of the moments of her life. And it was such a great teaching, because it shows us that we can either enjoy what's happening, or we can not do that. And so I just feel so inspired when I think of that, and I wanted to just share that with you today. Thank you, Vicki. It was fun meeting you. You could have stayed longer.
Hello. I am the other Jessie. I work at Beat Inspirations. Yes, there are two of us there. Not confusing at all. When I was a customer, I started going to Beat Inspirations in 2018. I met Vicki, and we bonded over many things, like creativity, music. She taught me about spirituality, and the store became my happy place. I would go there all the time, sometimes just to hang out for 3 hours. I mean, why not? So then in 2021, when she was looking for employees and interns, I emailed her and said, yeah, I'm very interested. But I told her that I was bipolar. She knew that previously. And I was very honest with her and told her that I hadn't worked in 18 years, and I had been fired from all my previous jobs. She said she didn't care about my past. She said that all that mattered was the present. So she gave me a shot. I've now been at the store for almost 4 years. Not only that, but I would come in with my own creations, my own designs. Vicki would take one look at them and be like, okay, you're teaching a class. We are doing that one. And she actually took one of my classes. It was a lot of fun. She always knew when I was having a bad day. She would sit me down in the back of the store, and she'd be like, all right, tell me what's wrong. So I would tell her, and she would give me all kinds of advice. She was very, very kind and empathetic. And I will always be grateful for that. And yeah, I'm going to try not to cry right now. But she gave me a chance. And because she gave me a chance, I have a lot of courage that I didn't have before. I have a lot of compassion that I was kind of learning about but didn't really have at the time. And she kind of took me under her wing. She taught me things that I didn't know about beading and about spirituality and all kinds of other things. And if it wasn't for her, I honestly don't know where I would be. I love working at the store. It's the only job I ever want. And also because of her, I met my love, the original Jessie, and we've been together for almost 3 years now. So, thank you. Oh, one more thing. We at the store are going to make a community chain in Vicki's honor. So we'd like to invite you all to come to the store, pick out a bead, and we can add it to the chain, which we will display in the store. Because Vicki was all about community. So we thought we would bring everyone together and do something creative. Thank you.
So hi, my name is Ellen, and unlike a lot of you, I don't think I knew Vicki that long. probably going on 10 years, but we really were activity partners. We knew each other through dance, through contra, through swing, other kinds of dance. We also found out that, like Yael and a few other people here, our circles of dance crossed, and we were all at different times in the same Americana dance troupe, but never at the same time. But I loved finding out those commonalities that we had. She was the only person that I could pass my clothes on to. So a lot of her closet was mine. And it's we had very similar styles. So today I'm dressing a la Vicki because I felt this looked like her, and I've got her beads and her scarf, and so I'm trying to bring her here with me today. I'll really miss her most on days like this, because if she were here, we would be loading up our kayaks and going out in Alameda to kayak around on the beautiful waters. And I thought I was a pretty good kayaker. I don't go distances, but I thought I was pretty good. But when I would go with Vicki, and I'd show up with my kayak in my van, lazy as I am, and she would come up on her bicycle with her big kayak pulled behind her, set up the whole thing, and we'd get in the water, and she would just take off. And I spent most of my time trying to keep up with her. And when we did find each other next to each other, we would always have some discussion that turned into life, family. We shared a lot about families, spirituality, and all of that. So I wanted to share a poem that I had read for my mom, but it really reminds me of Vicki as well. A side of Vicki that I'm not sure has come up yet, and that's, for me, was her real love for nature and the outdoors and the feeling of wonder at what she would see when we were outside on our adventures. And I feel like it expresses how she might be for all of us now. I don't know where it comes from. Do not stand at my grave and weep. I'm not there. I do not sleep. I am 1,000 winds that blow. I am the diamond glints on the snow. I'm the sunlight on ripened grain. I'm the gentle autumn's rain. When you awaken in the morning's hush, I am the swift uplifting rush of quiet birds in circled flight. I am the soft star that shines at night. Do not stand at my grave and cry. I'm not there. I did not die.
Okay, so we have time for one more. And who's the lucky person going to be? You. Come on up. You're standing up.
Thank you. My name is Gisela Merker, and I'm the person that, well, it's probably different ways that Vicki learned about and learned the Course in Miracles and how to practice it. And she was a member of my group for, I'm not sure how long, maybe 2 years, 3 years. And even today, kind of when I say that, I realize that when she first started, I didn't think she was going to continue. Maybe partly because the style in which I was teaching, or the way I was teaching the course, or the process. But gosh, she just hung in there, and she was very regular in her attendance, even when she wasn't feeling well. We did our meetings on Zoom, which I realized, we do miss a lot about people. But whether she was not feeling well, she'd be lying in bed, but she had her phone and she was there. Sometimes she was just getting off her bike, or she was driving somewhere. And I guess the thing that stands out for me, for Vicki, is just her search. She was just really a searcher. It seemed like she was constantly and deeply searching. She contributed a great deal to our group. I think part of it was the way in which she shared so openly about her own difficulties and struggles, and about her experience of God and wanting to do God's will. And I think everyone in the group, including myself, really benefited from her participation. And she was very interested in what other people's experiences were as well. Let's see. Oh, and I guess someone talked about this process of inner listening. Yet she always was trying to look within and try to deal in a better way, often, with whatever was going on. And she was very good at recognizing her projections, or sometimes in the process of our discussion, she would realize it. And she would think about, well, what triggered me here? And oftentimes, she would really come to a different sense of what was going on and was able to let go of whatever she was upset about at that moment. And I just want to add, it's been a delight for me to hear all these stories about Vicki, because in a way, I was just getting little snapshots here and there. And I don't generally like to do this kind of thing, but I just felt a deep call to come and just share with you all what my experience with Vicki has been. And I really feel great love for her, and she really touched me very deeply.
I guess I was incorrect. This lovely human here convinced me to give her 2 minutes, so she said it was very important.
Hi, my name is Marion Gerland, and I feel there's one part of Vicki's search that hasn't been named so explicitly, and I would like to speak to that. I'm a cancer survivor, and I was in a group with Vicki at the Women's Cancer Resource Center. I met Vicki in 2017, and we were in a particular group. It is called the Holistic, Alternative, Integrative, Complementary Healing Group for Cancer. And it's still in existence. It meets every first and third Wednesday, right now on Zoom. And so everybody is welcome who is a cancer survivor. And I think that is a big part of our friendship, because Vicki was passionate about the search for healing. She was not giving in to her disease. And so we journeyed together for about 7 years at the Women's Cancer Resource Center. First, I met her in person when we met in Berkeley, and then during 2020 to 2024, we've been meeting on Zoom. And as many of you know, her friends and family, she was very assertive. That's another A word for Vicki. So when the facilitator wanted to move on to another participant of the group, Vicki said, "I have not finished." So she was really very, very assertive in articulating what she had to say. And I really appreciated that about Vicki. So we became friends outside of the Women's Cancer Resource Center too. And I visited her sometimes, and the last time I visited her was helping her store her tricycle into the storage unit at her place. She was determined. She was a passionate bicycle rider, but when she couldn't ride anymore because of her disease and her illness, she got herself a tricycle. And so she was riding her tricycle. Lately, before she passed on, I tried contacting her, I tried calling her, and she would not respond. But I remember vividly on January 1st of this year, I got a call from her. Unfortunately, I was on my way out, I couldn't take the call, but I listened to the voicemail later, and it was Vicki greeting me to the new year in French. And I really appreciated that. I'm German. I'm a German immigrant. Fortunately, I studied French in school. So I really appreciated her reaching out to me in my second language that I like very much. So, and I wanted to end with saying that I wish I could have said goodbye to Vicki while she was still in her body. I wasn't able to, but I know she's with us, and I want to express my sympathies to the family and friends of whom I know some of you, and I appreciate you very much. Thank you.
Are you going to get the thing going up there? Are you going to get the thing going up there?
Yes.
For pictures and stuff. What a glorious opportunity that Vicki has called us together today. It is always when two or more gather together in the truth, the spirit of truth, that our hearts are pushed open. We drop out of the think-a-thon. We come back into the now and the gratitude and the recognition that in truth we are one. So I feel from all of the sharings this day together that when we do this song that I know you will remember, I can see clearly now. I can see clearly Vicki is flying around the room with us, and she's going, amen to that. I can see clearly now. I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that have kept me down. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. I think I can make it now. The pain is gone. All of those bad feelings have disappeared. Here is the rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Now look all around. Look all around, there's nothing but blue sky. Look straight ahead, nothing but blue sky. Look all around, there's nothing but blue sky. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny sunshiny day. Now I know I can make it now. I know I can make it now. Truth is here. It comes close to me and it whispers in my ear. It says, let not your heart be troubled, have no fear. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. Now look all around, come on. Look all around, there's nothing but blue skies. Look straight ahead, nothing but blue skies. Look all around, there's nothing but blue skies. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that have kept me down. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. Last time. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. Here is a little loving farewell. I love that poem that one of you ladies shared up here, but here's another one. A loving farewell. Vicki is saying, I cannot let you grieve for me. For those who love must let us go. In comfort, please believe I'm free from all the pain life can bestow. As I begin my world anew, consider not what used to be. I'm sending happy smiles to all of you while I enjoy eternity. Lord, bless this home from which I came, yet brush each lonely hour away with fond remembrance of my name and a sunshine for a newer day. Look to the wind, you'll find me there. Beside the hardest things you do, I've left my love within this prayer. I am always watching over you. So let us pause and close our eyes for a moment in giving great thanks, giving thanks, and everything I give thanks. Thanks for this experience in this moment together, celebrating this magnificent soul light who is named Vicki. Beloved Lord, we thank you for the opportunity to recognize it is your pure grace that flows in and through us from lifetime to lifetime. May we know that indeed you declare, I am living waters, a well-watered garden, a gurgling spring that never runs dry, for indeed I in the midst is eternal light. that fills every cell of every being, surrounding you with divine love. Know that the truth is that I am not the body, I am not the mind, but indeed, I am ever pure soul, limitless, flowing with great peace. So we praise you and we glorify you for lifting us into the light of truth. You call us into that truth that passeth all human understanding, that peace that is ever flowing. May we take this wonderful time together as an invitation that you might be glorified. For indeed you are the light in the midst of each of us, in the midst of everything that is created. God alone exists. We praise you. We thank you. And in truth, so it is. Amen. So, you're gonna
I'm gonna do something. That's right. Thank you so much, Linda.
Yes.
That was really, really beautiful. And thank you all for coming here today. I wish we would add more time to hear some more voices and hear the stories. It just really created a magical place for me. And the music's coming, and we're going to keep the slideshow going. And we got about 6 minutes, so just kind of, mill around. But we are having refreshments in the back. So just go around this way down. If you're going to stay, just walk down this way. And thank you for creating this. And we're having a contra dance starting at 3:30, beginners, and the dance at 4 with musicians and caller. And oh my, everything is just amazing. What a beautiful space we created here today.
Nothing to lose, nothing to do.
Namaste.
But let go.
I just have one more thing to say because we brought up about the dance. One of the things that I took to help pass on were all of Vicki's dance shoes. I have a lot. So they don't fit me. I have big feet. So I brought them all, and whether you're coming to the dance or if any of you know people who do dance, please talk to me at the reception, and I can show you, and it would be a lovely gift to pass on to other dancers.
Nothing to own, no one to be.
Y'all can go somewhere else now.
Nowhere to move.
That was my inner Vicki was saying it. She said that.
Already free. Let's just stay in the cave of the heart today. Bask this ever-present love. Nothing to fix, nothing to change, nothing to fight. Only what is, what if what is just right. Why not trust this mystery living us and rest in the refuge of the self. Nothing to judge, no one to blame or fear. Only my face
I'm here, nowhere to turn, nowhere to hide, nobody else, nothing outside that isn't inside myself. Let's just see, is anyone here but me? Here in the present moment now. Nothing to know, nothing to do, no one to be. Nowhere to go, already home, already free. Nowhere to go, already home, already free. Nowhere to go, already home, already free.
Tangentially a music major, and they had a music class, music. First semester, I kept showing them. The dream was here, let's go on. So again, the second time, the trouble went to the wayside. There were some great bands that had these sections. Town of Power. They were incredible because they were saying, we're playing in the same genre. We're rocking out. It was a chorus. Everything was so impressive. Yeah. Essentially, two play a lot together. Yeah. I love when I was sitting there, because I used to play trumpet, just watching the fingers, and trying to remember what it was. Oh, yeah. Play together twice a week. Yeah, the four of us came together for just two short rehearsals. For this, just working out the arrangements and very difficult. The timing and getting the voices to match. Yeah.
Yeah.